Hello, my name is Sophie and welcome back to my channel. I've been thinking about making my 26 in 2026 list genuinely since the summer. I love making a list. I just get so excited about it. I want to make a dent in my TBR jar. I think I probably have made quite a big dent in my physical TBR this year, but I've also bought a lot of books, so the numbers are still looking pretty even to where they were at the beginning of the year, but I'm so motivated to actually try and make a dent in my physical TBR next year. Whether that lasts if I take a trip to the works is a different question entirely, but that's not what we're talking about today. I made a poster thing for like an A to Z challenge that I'm going to be using, but that's separate to this, because today is the day I'm going to let myself make my 26 and 2026. I gave myself the deadline, for want of a better word, of this jar being empty. Now, this is the mini TBR jar that goes with the big TBR jar. And when I made my 25 in 2025 last year, I picked titles out of the big jar, and then I used the little jar to carry on with the whole kind of TBR jar picks what I'm reading thing. And I said to myself that when this jar is empty, I can make next year's list. Does that mean I've finished my 25 in 2025? At the point of recording, not quite. I'm currently listening to the last book on the list, but I envision that I'll be able to finish it before the end of this week. So for all intents and purposes, my 25 in 2025 is finished. The jar is empty. So I'm going to allow myself to make next year's list, and I'm really excited about it. I've got a whole setup, which is arguably ridiculous, but I'm aware of it. I've got my favourite writing pen, because can you be autistic if you don't have a favourite writing pen? A piece of paper to actually write down the titles on. It has to go on 2 sides because 26 books is actually a lot. I've got, obviously, my big TBR jar to choose titles out of. I've got a little TBR jar to put the new titles into. And then I got this TBR jar from 3 TBR jars is too many, I appreciate that, but they all have different functions. Got this one from Illumicrate. It says books are a way to live 1,000 lives. But the thing that kind of confused me about this one is it has a little post slot at the top, which if you're picking books out of it, doesn't make sense. These are the books from my TBR jar that I have read, and when I finish them, I get to slot them in the little postal slot, and I take great joy out of that. And last year when I made this list, I found a bunch of titles that I had actually already read. So I thought I'd bring this out preemptively. I don't know how long this is going to take, but hopefully, get a drink, get a snack, because 26 books is a lot. Let's dive straight in. I'm so excited. I always feel like I can't look. The first one I pick, oh, interesting. Private Peaceful by Michael Morpurgo. So all of this shelf and this big shelf are my unread TBR. So the pieces of paper in this jar don't include any of the new buy books that I've bought. So all of the books that come out of this jar will be on the shelves behind me. How quickly I can find them is a different question entirely. Private Peaceful by Michael Morpurgo, which I believe is a children's / middle grade book. And it's short, and I love me essentially children's book that's quite short. It's a nice easy win, and Michael Morpurgo is known for being quite a poetic author, so that's a nice place to start. First piece of paper going into the little jar. Let's go straight into pick number 2. I'm fancying one from the bottom this time, and this time we have The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This is one that I put on one of my annual TBRs years ago and never got around to reading. I picked it up for £5 from the works, and it's one of those that was a hugely popular TikTok romance that I fell to the hype and bought, but never followed through and read. On to pick number 3. This one was calling to me. This one is written in actual handwriting, Meant to Be Mine by Hannah Orenstein. I've read a book by this author before, and I've been wanting to read this for a while. Another contemporary romance from the works. I got this one in the 3 for £6 deal. That deal has now gone up to £7.50, so this sticker is now part of history. Oh, sounds a bit kind of magical realism-y as well. Edie Mayer knows her date. Her grandmother Gloria has accurately predicted every day. The day every single member of the family has met their match. Edie's is June 24th, 2022. My nan's birthday was June 24th. That's cute. When she's 29 years old. That morning, she boards an airplane to her twin sister's surprise engagement, and when a handsome musician sits beside her, she knows it's meant to be. But fate comes with more complications than Edie expected. She can't fight the nagging suspicion that her perfect guy doesn't have perfect timing. After a shocking revelation rocks Edie's carefully constructed world, she's forced to consider whether love chooses us as simple as destiny, or if we choose it ourselves. I've just had one of those thoughts that I feel like is going to jinx it. We're only 3 in, and I haven't got a series yet. No doubt I will get one at some point, but not yet, as far as I'm aware. We have Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. I would show you, but these pieces of paper are so small. By the time the camera had focused on it, it's a lot of faff. This is one I bought in a charity shop because it's pretty and it has sprayed edges, and that is all I really remember about it. I paid $2.99 for it. They call her Traitor Kate. It's a title Kate Brighton inherited from her father after he tried to assassinate the High King of Rhyme. Cast out of nobility, she now works for the Royal Courier Service. Only the most skilled ride for the relay, and only the fastest survive. And when night falls, the night drakes, deadly flightless dragons, come out to hunt. Fortunately, Kate has a secret edge. She's a wilder, born with forbidden magic that allows her to influence the mind of animals. How exciting. Cool. That sounds like it could possibly become a series, but as far as I'm aware, it isn't. So, there's that. Pick number 5. Just taking one from the top. Kind of going with the vibes on these. Ace of Spiders by Stefan Mohammed. How exciting. This is a book I picked up for 50p at my favourite bookstore in the country. It's called High Peak Bookstore in Derbyshire. And I picked this up because I'd heard on social media of a book called Ace of Spades that was really popular, but at the time I couldn't remember the spades bit, so I saw Ace of Spiders and I was like, oh, maybe it's this one. It's not. I have just seen on the back that this is Bitter 16 Book 2, so I'm going to have to figure out whether I can find Book 1 somewhere or whether I can find it as an audiobook. We have our first in a series. How wonderful. I did buy that book in 2020 though, so glad to finally be getting around to it. Let's go for another one from the top. We have, I know this is a duology, To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I love it when I can reach it without standing up. This is not one of those times. To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I picked this one up when I bought a box set of Alexandra Christo books from The Works on... I can link the video actually. I essentially, in 2023, decided I was going to have a book buying spree at the beginning of December and I was going to go buy some Christmas books. And I kind of lost my mind and bought over 50 books in one go, which included a bunch of box sets from The Works. And I don't really know anything about them, but they sounded pretty good. It's a fantasy. It might be YA actually. I have a heart for every year I've been alive. There are 17 hidden in the sand of my bedroom. Every so often, I claw through the shingle just to check they're still there, buried deep and bloody. Princess Lyra is siren royalty and revered across the sea until she's cursed into humanity by the ruthless Sea Queen. Now Lyra must deliver the heart of the infamous siren killer or remain a human forever. Prince Elion is heir to a powerful kingdom and captain to a ruthless crew of siren hunters. When he rescues a drowning woman, she promises to help him destroy sirenkind for good, but he has no way of knowing whether he can trust her. That sounds fun. Will I read both of the duology? Maybe. I have been quite good at actually making an effort to finish series this year. And then I think reach for one from the bottom. A bunch of these have got tangled up. There we go. Let's go for pick number 7. Haven't had any dupes yet. The Clever Guts Diet by Michael Mosley. I might have sold that one. But that's a book I don't have anymore, so thank you. Please focus on my face. Next attempt we have Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. How come I can barely remember what I've had for breakfast most days, but I can pretty much remember where I bought almost all of these books. This was on a trip to Reading to see a friend. I managed to coerce my husband into buying me 6 books, and I think it was just as the film had come out. The film sounds good, so why not read the book? I think this is technically a film cover. I think that's the actress that's in the film, but it's a pretty cover. It's a short book, and it's YA, if not middle grade, and it sounds fun. I think I established when I made this last year that if I keep shaking it, it's just going to unravel a bunch of the titles. So let's just pick one. In theory, I could just pick ones from the top every time because I've already shaken them up. Another one written by Prince of Thorns, Mark Lawrence. I'm pretty sure this was on my 2025 TBR. I'm pretty sure I DNF'd it. Why would it? Yeah, Prince of Thorns, Mark Lawrence. So either I wrote it twice and it went in the jar twice, or I accidentally put it back in. No, because I would have taken it out. Oh, I don't know. Either way, I DNF'd that last year, so no thank you. Number 8, take 2. I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. Now this was a book that my mum gave me, and it was September time. The picture of when I moved to uni came up on my Facebook memories like it always does, and I could see the collection of books that I'd taken with me to uni, and I thought, oh, I'll try and zoom in. I could make a TikTok or something about the books that I took with me to uni and whether I've actually read them. And I couldn't really tell what most of the books were. The photo was too blurry. But this was definitely one of them. And I went to uni in 2015, so I've had this book for at least 10 years. And my mum bought it for me. I know that for sure because she was really inspired by Malala. And I never got around to reading it. So let's do that because actually she's just released another biography, memoir, not sure how you'd categorise it, but another non-fiction book. So maybe I could read this and then treat myself to her new one, compare, see how she's doing. But that's very exciting. And it's nice to have a non-fiction on the list because I don't actually read a lot of non-fiction and I should really make more of an effort. Next we have this one. Ooh. Yeah. 2 jumped out, so I'm going to use both of them. Why not? Then we have The Library by Bella Osborne. This was on my TBR once and I can't remember why. But this looks like a really wholesome, just like cute small town. Is it a romance? No, I don't think so. I think it's kind of coming of age literary fiction. I picked it up in a garden centre. It had books on the cover. I love books about books. Teenager Tom has always blended into the background of life. After a row with his dad and facing an unhappy future at the dog food factory, he escapes to the library. Pensioner Maggie has been happily alone with her beloved novels for 10 years. At least that's what she tells herself. When they meet, they recognise something in each other that will change both their lives forever. Then the library comes under threat of closure, and they must join forces to prove it's not just about books, it's at the heart of their community. They are determined to save it because some things are worth fighting for. Now that sounds like a very cute found family relationship, and that sounds wonderful, so I'm very glad that that one's cropped up on the list. Thank you, book number 9. Cute. And then the other one that I picked out was The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. That's not intimidating at all. Oh, this one I got for only £3 from the works, but again, I bought it exclusively because this was super duper popular. This was more kind of commercially popular rather than TikTok popular, but it's one that I really should have already read by now. And this is what I love about this kind of TBR challenge, and especially doing it this way, in that I just get such a broad variety of books. And I'm finally going to get around to reading The Tattooist of Auschwitz. Whether I'm going to enjoy it is a different question entirely. I read a few books that kind of I would put into the same kind of category this year, where they deserved 5 stars, even if I didn't enjoy them. Especially with topics like this, it's hard to enjoy a book in this kind of setting, but it can still deserve 5 stars. So I'm not going to say I'm looking forward to it, but I think it will be a very insightful read. Book number 11. The thing with paper is, or with this paper, is it's not entirely opaque, so I can kind of see through it sometimes. Those Who Lie by Diane Jeffrey. I think this is a kind of thrillery one. Not great spine design. I can barely see the colours. This one I actually couldn't tell you where I got it from. I might have picked it up from the Oxfam Superstore in Oxford. It's got a sticker that says £2 on it, so it definitely wasn't brand new. Got a broken ring on the front with some dodgy Photoshop. But what's this one about? Emily Klein doesn't know she's killed her husband until the day of his funeral. Probably a thriller then. At first, signs point to a tragic accident, yet as Emily pieces together the events leading up to the accident and her own memory loss, she begins to suspect that her husband's death may have been the result of more than a terrible twist of fate. But the accident is only the beginning, because while Emily's physical scars will heal, the trauma of the accident has awakened old ghosts. She hears strange sounds, catches things that can't possibly be there in the corner of her eye, and before long, everywhere she looks, she seems to see her husband. Emily doesn't know who to believe or who she can turn to, and suddenly she finds herself asking the most dangerous question of all: can she really trust herself? Oh, I do love an unreliable narrator. Every widow has her secrets. So we'll see how that one feels. Number 12, we're nearly halfway through. Oh, nice. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. This is another one that I saw on social media, but probably only because of the adaptation with Reese Witherspoon. This one I picked up from a charity donation bin. Should I have let it go to charity? Probably, but here we are. It says it's signed by the author. Is it actually signed? Yeah, it is. Wonderful. Yeah, I think I've seen clips of the film on Facebook, which is a very millennial thing to say, I think. But I think this is another one of those thrillers that will really grip me. In the placid, progressive suburb of Shaker Heights, everything is meticulously planned, from the colours of the houses to the successful lives its residents will go on to lead, and no one embodies this spirit more than Elena Richardson. Mia Warren, an enigmatic artist and single mother, arrives in this idyllic bubble with her teenage daughter Pearl and rents a house from the Richardsons. Soon, Mia and Pearl become more than just tenants. All 4 Richardson children are drawn to the alluring mother-daughter pair, but Mia carries with her a disregard for the rules that threaten to upend this carefully ordered community. When the Richardsons' friends attempt to adopt a Chinese-American baby, a custody battle erupts that dramatically divides the town and puts Mia and Mrs. Richardson on opposing sides. Mrs. Richardson becomes determined to uncover the secrets in Mia's past, but her obsession will come at unexpected and devastating cost to her own family and Mia's. Very dramatic. Sounds like fun. Why not? We have What is Life by Addie Pross. I think this is another one that went on Vinted. I sold that one. I don't have that book anymore. Let's try again. One thing I am quite grateful for in doing this is that it does clear out my TBR jar of ones I don't own. Darkness on the Edge of Town by Adam Christopher, the Stranger Things novel. This was on my 2024 challenge, and it went on my monthly TBR like 3 or 4 times. Maybe I'll actually get around to reading it this year. Though, to be fair, with the last season of Stranger Things coming out, I imagine that will incentivize me to want to read this more. Before I was chief of Hawkins Police, I used to be a cop in New York City, a detective working homicide. 11 mouthed the unfamiliar word. Ah, yeah, said Hopper. Homicide means murder. Elle's eyes went wide. Hopper sighed, wondering if he really had just opened Pandora's box. In the summer of 1977, something very strange happened. I loved Hopper as a character, and I loved one of the other Stranger Things novels I read, so maybe this year I'll actually get around to reading this. Cool. Book number 14. Let's keep going, otherwise this video is going to go on forever. One that's already kind of unfolded. We have Armada by Ernest Cline. Again, I can tell you exactly when I bought this, if I can find it. There we go. This one I definitely picked up from the Oxfam Superstore in Oxford, because I found it just after I'd read Ready Player One, also by Ernest Cline, so I was interested to read more from this author. I've since seen there's not many positive reviews of this book, but I would like to find out for myself. The blurb reads, "It's just another day of high school for Zach Lightman, but then he glances out of his classroom window and spots a flying saucer. Zach thinks he's going crazy. The UFO he's staring at is straight out of the video game he plays every night, Armada, in which gamers just happen to be protecting the Earth from alien invaders. But what Zach's seeing is all too real, and his skills are going to be needed to save the Earth from what's about to befall it. Yet, even as he scrambles to prepare for the alien onslaught, Zach can't help thinking of all the science fiction books, TV shows, and movies he grew up reading and watching. Doesn't something about this scenario seem a little too familiar? Interesting. I read a book this year called Only You Can Save Mankind by Terry Pratchett, and it's basically the same concept. So, we'll see how much of that feels like a rip-off of a Terry Pratchett book. at some point during 2026, I guess. Into the TBR jar you go. Number 15. Guilt by Amanda Robson. Where did I buy this? And why? Your Sister, Her Secret, The Betrayal. This sounds like another thriller book. Twins Zara and Miranda have always supported each other, but then Zara meets Seb and everything changes. Handsome, charismatic and dangerous, Seb threatens to tear the sisters apart, but is he really the one to blame, or are deeper resentments simmering beneath the surface? As the sisters' relationship is stretched to the brink, a traumatic incident in Seb's past begins to rear its head, and soon all three are locked in a conflict that will leave someone dead. The question is, who? I do quite like family relationships in books, so we'll see how that goes. You got to go in with an open mind. That book ended up on my shelf at some point because I was interested in reading it. When that point was, I have no idea, but here we are. Book number 16, we have Mirrorscape by Mike Wilkes. This is one I'm excited about because this is a book I definitely bought when I was a kid, and I read it, but now I don't really remember anything about it, but I remember it being really good, especially for a book that's this chunky that I read when I was a teenager. I really want to reread it, so I'm glad that one's cropped up. On the blurb, it says, as they watched, the master raised his hand in front of the canvas and moved it in an elaborate gesture as if he were tracing a complicated design in the air. He moved closer to the canvas and the trio gasped. He's vanished. Step into the mirrorscape and explore the secret world behind the paintings, a dangerous world where anything is possible. That sounds super fun. So nice to have a reread on there, even if I don't remember reading it in the first place. Pick number 17. That one's calling to me, but it's attached to another one, so I'll have them both. I'm trying to let fate be involved here somewhere. Do I really believe in fate? Not sure. Not a discussion for today. We have The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. Now, I have read an Ava Reid before, but I picked this up before I read, what was that I read? A Study in Drowning. This one I picked up at the Coventry Waterstones. It's got a good flop to it, but it's got some damage on the back. It was in the clearance sale bit they have, and I got it for £3. Can't argue with that. This cover is stunning. It's just gorgeous. And I think that's why I bought it, because I don't know anything else about it. A spirited outcast, a disgraced prince, a world where monsters roam free. In her forest-veiled pagan village of Evike is the only woman without power. So when soldiers from the Holy Order of Woodsmen arrive to claim a girl for their king's blood sacrifice, she is betrayed and surrendered. But when they are attacked en route to the capital, and everyone but Evike and a lone woodsman are slaughtered, they have no choice but to rely on each other. Except he's no ordinary woodsman. He's the disgraced prince. Gaspar Burani. There's a lot of accents on these letters. Gaspar Burani, whose father needs pagan magic to consolidate his power. As they travel from the bitter northern tundra to the smog-choked capital, they form a tenuous pact that slowly turns their loathing to affection. Enemies to lovers, yes please. But trust is easily betrayed, and as Evike discovers her own hidden magic, she and Gaspar must decide where their loyalties really lie. Definitely going to need an audiobook for that one. Ava Reid's writing tends to be quite flowery as far as I'm aware, and that wasn't my favourite part of A Study in Drowning. It will be nice to actually make myself read this next year. Book number 18 is the one that was attached to it. We have My Mechanical Romance by Alexine Farrell-Falmouth. This is one I was really excited about, and then I realised that Alexine Farrell-Falmouth is Olivia Blake, and I don't love Olivia Blake's writing style, so I'm hoping that as this is written under a different author's name and in a very different genre, it will have a very different writing style. So this blurb reads, nerds are so hot, especially battle robot building nerds. When Belle accidentally reveals a talent for engineering at school, she's forced into joining the robotics club. Enter Matteo Luna, perfect on paper, captain of the football team and the robotics club, who recognises Belle as a potential asset, even if they couldn't be more different. And as the nights of after-school work grow longer, Belle and Matteo, realise they've made more than just a combat-ready robot for the championship. They've made a connection themselves. But with graduation approaching, their differences and what they want for their futures threatens what they've built together. Can they survive nationals without breaking their robots or their hearts? That sounds like the exact kind of YA romance I want to read, so I am so stoked. And I'll finally get to figure out whether Alexine Farrell-Falmouth is an author for me, even if Olivia Blake isn't. 19. Not too many left to go. I'm losing the light. The sun will set probably before I get to this. Oh, cool! The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. We're getting all the old TikTok favourites. Don't think I've read a Christina Lauren. The blurb is very long, but from what I recall, yeah, it's based on an app it's like a dating app based on statistics and genetics, and the female main character matches with the app's founder, so they have to start dating to make the app look successful. It's a contemporary romance, and I've not read enough of those this year, so to have quite a few now on this list is very exciting. So that's book number 19. I said this last year, but it does feel like the TBR jar is getting smaller. The fact that I've not added anything to it for 2 years is not the point, and the fact that I will still have an unread TBR when I finish this TBR jar, absolutely not the point. 7 more to go, I think. Let's just keep taking from the top. It's working out quite well. Let's do it. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. That's like the 3rd thriller we've got. The Family Upstairs, 1 house, 2 families, 3 bodies. This one I got from the Oxfam Superstore because someone I followed on YouTube, who doesn't make videos anymore, unfortunately, was a big fan of Lisa Jewell, so I wanted to try them out. And that definitely diversifies the contemporary romance. Number 21 is going to be The Alibi Girl by CJ Skews. This, I believe, is another thriller. Again, another one I have absolutely no idea where or why I acquired it. The Alibi Girl, Her Lies Can't Last Forever. Is this YA? Joanne Haynes has a secret that is not her real name. And there's more. Her flat isn't hers, her cats aren't hers, even her hair isn't really hers. Nor is she any of the other women she pretends to be. Not the best-selling romance novelist who gets her morning snack from the donut van on the seafront. Not the pregnant woman in the dental surgery. Not the chemo patient in the supermarket for whom the cashier feels ever so sorry. They're all just alibis. In fact, the only thing that's real about Joanne is that nobody can find out who she really is, but someone has got too close. It looks like her alibis have begun to run out. Oh, this is from the author of Sweet Pea, which was adapted into a BBC show. I haven't read that book either. We love diversifying our reading and going in with an open mind and finding out we like things more than we thought we did. And by we, I mean me, and things, I mean thrillers. This one is going to be Die For Me by Amy Plum. This one I'm 99% sure is our YA because it came from, again, my favourite bookshop ever, which I can tell because of the orange stickers. 2011, so yeah, there's a real chance I bought this like a decade ago. But let's see what the blurb says. My life had always been blissfully, wonderfully normal, but it only took one moment to change everything. Suddenly, my sister Georgia and I were orphans. We put our lives into storage and moved to Paris to live with our grandparents. And I knew my shattered heart, my shattered life would never feel normal again. Then I met Vincent. Mysterious, sexy, and unnervingly charming, Vincent Delacroix appeared out of nowhere and swept me off my feet. Just like that, I was in danger of losing my heart all over again. Of course, nothing is ever that easy, because Vincent is no normal human. He has a terrifying destiny, one that puts his life at risk every day. He also has enemies, immortal, murderous enemies who are determined to destroy him and all of his kind. While I'm fighting to piece together the remnants of my life, can I risk putting my heart, as well as my life and my family's, in jeopardy for a chance at love? Interesting. This sounds paranormal. YA paranormal? Sign me up. We've only got 4 more to go, which is good because it's definitely getting very dark in here. Next up, we have a handwritten one, Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. Right, now this is one that I've got on the TBR for my husband. We set a TBR challenge for each other, and I put Ordinary Monsters on his list because it's really chunky, and I wanted him to read it and tell me whether I'd like it. Now I suppose I'm going to find out for myself. I suppose the real challenge will be who actually gets around to reading it first. And I got it in the half-price hardback sale at Waterstones. And I don't know whether I was just taken in by the cover or if I kind of like the sound of the plot. I don't really remember what the plot's about. 1882, north of Edinburgh, on the edge of an isolated loch, lies an institution of crumbling stone where a strange doctor collects orphans with unusual abilities. In London, 2 children with such powers are hunted by a figure of darkness, a man made of smoke. You know what? That'll do for the summary because that sounds good, and that'll be why I bought it. So I'm going to leave this on my husband's pile for now, but also it would topple over my pile but it is there. The Satsuma Complex by Bob Mortimer. This is one that my husband and I bought because we love Bob Mortimer as a comedian, and the Satsuma Complex just sounds really funny. So we bought that, but we also have the sequel, The Hotel Avocado, and Bob Mortimer has released a new book called The Long Shoe, I believe. We haven't read any of them, so the fact that I actually now have to read it is really good, and I'm really excited about it. I need to look up who's done the audiobook, because if it is Bob Mortimer narrating the audiobook, I'm absolutely listening to that. Ultimate pick. Let's go down to the bottom again for this one. This time we got Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. Yes. I believe this is another one that was on my 2024 TBR, because again, I think that one was one I picked on vibes and books that I really was excited about, but I didn't make as much time to read my 24 and 2024 that year. So I obviously didn't get around to reading it. With this gorgeous sprayed edge edition. I believe we bought this on our mini moon after our wedding, so that would make it a 2022 purchase, which was over 3 years ago. And I love Greek mythology. I've not read a Natalie Haynes yet, which, as someone who likes Greek mythology, just feels wrong. So really excited. Now that I've finished my 25 and 2025 and I have more of a routine with my monthly TBRs, I feel more capable of actually reading all the books on this list. So that's very exciting. And last, but by no means least, because I will probably not read these in the same order I pulled them out in, the last one will be Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is about a fantasy cafe where if you sit in a certain spot and that someone else has sat in, you can go like back in time and have a conversation with them, but the only caveat is you have to get back before your coffee gets cold. And this is now part of a 5-book series. I was very restrained and I only let myself buy the first one, and if I like this, I will allow myself to buy the others. This is one that's very, very hyped and I've heard wonderful things about, so I would really, really like to read this. I'm so glad. That's the last book on the list. 26 books. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I only have to read 2 a month and then have 2 months where I read 3. It's achievable. I proved it with my 25 and 2025. There will come a year where the number is too high to make a list like this. But having just done my 25 and 2025, I'm quite happy with 26 titles in this little jar. And those will be the books from my physical TBR that I prioritise reading next year. I don't think they will be the only books from my physical TBR that I will read next year. They are the ones on the list. So we'll do a quick run through. So in reverse order, we have the one I just picked, Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, please do tell me. We have Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, The Satsuma Complex by Bob Mortimer, Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro, which is on my husband's stack, so I'm not grabbing it right now. Die For Me by Amy Plum, The Alibi Girl by C.J. Skews, The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, My Mechanical Romance by Alexine Farrell-Falmouth, The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed, Mirrorscape by Mike Wilkes, Guilt by Amanda Robson. I was doing so well with remembering all the authors' names. Armada by Ernest Cline, Darkness on the Edge of Town by Adam Christopher, an official Stranger Things novel, Little Fires Everywhere from Celeste Ng, Those Who Lie by Diane Jeffrey, The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris, The Library by Bella Osborne, I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. Again, if I pronounced that wrong, please tell me. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Bloom, The Killer Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, Ace of Spiders by Stefan Mohammed, Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett, Meant to Be Mine by Hannah Orenstein, The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and last but not least, Private Peaceful by Michael Morpurgo. There we have the 26 books from my physical TBR that I will be attempting, somewhat successfully, I hope, to read in 2026. I appreciate it's way too early and I definitely should have waited till later in the year, in actual December, to make this video, but I was excited and I'm really pleased. I think that's a really good mix of books. And again, it takes an element of decision making out of my hands, and I hate making decisions. So that works well for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're reading a great book, and I'll see you next time for another bookish video. Bye.